Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Band Together Leadership. I'm your host, I'm Paul Everts. You can reach me at my email address, and I wish you would. It's BAND, the number 2, together, bandtogether, Comcast.net. Also visit our handsome website, which is conductingmylife.com, where you'll see that I'm a speaker, trainer, coach for the John Maxwell team, and also a published author, Conducting My Life. Hope you would buy that book. It's a great book, not just for music teachers, it's just for people in general. However, it is lessons for a music teacher, which I am. I'm recording this today on December the 29th. It's a Sunday, and it's blustery here in Roseville, California. We had a really wonderful sermon today by one of the associate pastors, Pastor Mike, and he gave us a story that I wanted to share with you, and I didn't know what I should put this under. So I'm going to put it under a special message and in my playlist. It might be the only special message I have in my playlist, but I also put it under the Conducting My Life as far as band together leadership seminars go. So I have to look down once in a while to read it. So forgive me for that. But I was touched by this. You can see I have my partner here. Do you recognize that? Yeah. It's Linus's Christmas tree. And that's what part of the sermon, the whole sermon was focused really on that story. And he had somebody help him, he being Pastor Mike. This is Jason Soroski. And I put the message, Jason Soroski, so he doesn't get mad at me. I have the link down in the description of today's video. And I would encourage you to take a look at it and share this message, especially now, because this Wednesday we have a chance for new beginnings. And I cannot tell you what it's like to have another year to live. Next January 6th, not Insurrection Day, it's the 12th day of Christmas and my birthday. I'll be 59. So when you get another chance to have another new year at 59 and beyond, that's a blessing. So let me read to you what Pastor Mike shared at our church, and I'm also going to put a link to that message as well. This is from Jason Soroski. Just drop the blanket. The moment you never noticed in a Charlie Brown Christmas. There you go. By the way, I got this as a gift for one of my students when I was teaching in Dublin, California. And I have it. And this gift, it's over 10 years old now. It's kind of special. It's very special. Not even kind of special. Okay, here we go. So thank you, Pastor Jason, and our associate pastor, Mike. So this week, A Charlie Brown Christmas aired on national primetime television for the 50th time. This was written December 21st, 2022. Okay? In a world where the latest, greatest technology is outdated in a matter of moments or months, and social media tends to come and go in a matter of 50 days or 50 years or whatever the case may be, 50 years of anything becomes quite meaningful. I'm 59 to be. Pastor Jason goes, I'm a big fan of all things nostalgic and all things Christmas. And so when the two are combined, Pastor Jason is hooked. And the Charlie Brown Christmas special falls squarely into that category. And it does for me as well. I watched it this year. Pastor Jason was in first grade back then when they still performed Christmas pageants in schools. Less than 50 years, but still a very long time ago. And our class performed a version of the Charlie Brown Christmas. Since Jason was kind of a bookworm and had already had a blue blanket, he was chosen to play the part of Linus. As Linus, Pastor Jason memorized Luke chapter 2, verses 8 through 14, and that scripture has been hidden in his heart ever since. But while working so diligently to learn those lines, there's one important thing Pastor Jason did not notice then and didn't notice until now. Right in the middle of speaking, Linus drops his blanket. Charlie Brown is best known for his uniquely striped shirt, and Linus is most associated with his ever-present security blanket. Throughout the story of Peanuts, Lucy, Snoopy, Sally, and others all work to no avail to separate Linus from his blanket. And even though his security blanket remains a major source of ridicule for the otherwise mature and thoughtful Linus, he simply refuses to give it up. Until this moment, when he simply drops it. In that climactic scene when Linus shares what Christmas is all about, Linus drops his security blanket, and Pastor Jason is now convinced that this is intentional. Most telling is the specific moment Linus drops the security blanket, when he utters the words, "Fear not." Looking at it now, it is pretty clear what Charles Schulz was saying, and it is so simple, it is brilliant. The birth of Jesus separates us from our fears. The birth of Jesus allows us to simply drop the false security we have been grasping so tightly and learn to trust and cling to Him instead. This world can be a scary place, and most of us find ourselves grasping to something temporal for security, whatever that thing may be. Essentially, ours is a world in which it is very difficult for us to fear not. But in the middle or in the midst of fear and insecurity, that simple cartoon image from 1965 continues to live on as an inspiration for us to seek true peace and security in the one place it has always been and can always be found. Isn't that awesome? Now there's a part 2. That was part 1. Here's part 2. Drop the blanket 2. The rest of Linus' story from A Charlie Brown Christmas. And this is updated, says December 3rd, 2021. So 3 years ago. So a few days ago, I wrote down some thoughts about a beautiful moment that has been hidden in plain sight for 50 years in A Charlie Brown Christmas. As a pastor, Pastor Jason is thrilled at the encouragement it has given, and as a former literature teacher, Pastor Jason is thrilled that it has started a firestorm of film analysis. Many of you have pointed out that at the end of the scene, Linus picks the blanket back up and have openly wondered why. After the epic blanket dropping recitation of scripture given by Linus in response to Charlie Brown's quest for meaning, Linus picks the blanket back up. Is that anticlimactic? Why would Linus pick that old security back up after so boldly proclaiming an end to fear? Why does he leave the stage with that security blanket still in his hand? We must first realize that we all carry that same blanket. Just like Linus, we may stand tall in a moment of faith and conviction, a moment when scripture hidden in our heart comes to life, and all else is flung aside as we experience and proclaim the true freedom and security that only Jesus can give. But at some point, out of habit, we reach down and we pick that thing right back up. Faith, while powerful, is also delicate. Linus clearly knows the truth and clearly proclaims the truth. The knowledge is there and the wisdom is there and the passion is there. So why does Linus pick it back up? Pastor Jason thinks the answer is strikingly clear. It is because we all do the same thing. We know, we feel, we proclaim. Yet we gaze in the mirror one morning to find that tattered old blanket draped over our shoulder again. And we realize that we have become so used to it being there that we hardly even notice it. But that is not where this blanket story ends. The show ends with the Peanuts gang not just singing, but clearly, unquestionably singing in worship. Even the musical style at this point is different from anything else heard previously. The obvious song choice here could have been "O Christmas Tree," the notes of which have already been playing gently in the background. But the focus is no longer the tree. The focus has become bigger than the tree. The focus is Jesus. With this new focus, the kids instead slide effortlessly into "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." Glory to the newborn King. And what we are now witnessing is essentially an impromptu worship service. But before any of this happens, Linus parts with the blanket yet again and lays it down for good at the base of the beautiful Christmas tree. Just as we should strive to not just lay our blanket down just anywhere, but leave the blanket forever behind us at the foot of that cross for our own good and for the good of others. We forget that. Linus and friends have moved from speaking truth and hearing truth into a deeper place of worship, where they finally respond to that truth, much like those shepherds who were instructed to fear not so long ago. It is here at the end of the show that Linus lays the blanket yet again. At this time, he doesn't look back. Thank you, Pastor Jason Soroski. What a great message. Thank you, Pastor Mike, our associate pastor at our church. May we leave our troubles and our burdens at the foot of the cross. Come this next new year, including me, faith over fear. We've seen that, and let's live it. Let's do it. And I appreciate all of you who stand with me in this goal of becoming better Christians. Remember, you're not victims. I'm not a victim. I'm a Christian. A victim is somebody who walks down the street and gets hit by a car. Maybe that can be a victim. Okay? Getting robbed. Victims, right? But as Christians, we're going to make choices that they're going to hurt. They might hurt as much as a car hitting us. But we have Jesus Christ to help us get through this. I'm just a music teacher. And I hope that my scholars are watching this. I see that you guys are joining, so that's really cool. Joining, subscribing. Old man, Mr. Everts. So again, I wish you a happy 2025. I'm so grateful for another year to live. We have big things happening in our family for sure. And I'm sure you do as well. Begin with the end in mind. Every choice you make is who you are, so choose wisely. Seek first to understand, and then be understood. And finally, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I care about you. God bless, and I love you. Bye.